Welcome, Lone Star Conference fans. We are All Access. I'm Travis Whipple, joined by Commissioner Stan Wagnon. Commissioner, we talked earlier this week that you had just gotten back from the NCAA convention, and as every year goes, there's new legislation that gets passed at those meetings. And so, first, want to talk with you a little bit about those, and specifically in recruiting and membership.
Yeah, I think in recruiting, we've had some big changes that will make an impact not only for our coaches and the way they go about doing their business, but also for our compliance officials and the way they go about monitoring the coaches' actions. And so proposals 11, 12, and 13 dealt with the way that our coaches go about interacting with prospective student athletes. All three of them were overwhelmingly approved. And so what happened is we've adopted a new start date for when our coaches can make contact with prospects, and that now becomes the June 15th, immediately prior to a prospect's junior year. And so really what it does, it moves that time frame back to where our coaches can really take some time and develop meaningful relationships with these recruits, and it's not so much of a rushed process. The other component to these proposals, which allows for contact to begin, whether that's in-person visits, telephone calls, or text messaging, emails, things of that nature. But the other component there is that it allows for unlimited contacts, and so that's where it's going to help the compliance folks, because they won't be monitoring the sheer volume of text messages, phone calls, things of that nature. And so I think it'll be helpful for our coaches because they can have more genuine relationships with these recruits. It's definitely going to be helpful for the compliance administrators to ease the burden that they have in monitoring.
Absolutely. Some great initiatives there. And then how about in the areas of membership for the NCAA?
Some big changes there, and a lot of that was a result of kind of what's going on across the country with people looking from one conference to the next. And as a division, we're looking to grow Division II over the next 10, 15 years to somewhere around 350 institutions, give or take. And we just felt as a division that it's time now for us to put in some policies that will control that growth and make sure that these institutions come in a way that benefits the overall division, benefits the existing conferences that are in the division. And so proposals 8, 9, and 10 dealt with that. Proposal 8 basically will change the membership requirements for a conference. And so right now you only have to have 6 member schools to be a member conference. In 2017 that number will jump to 8. And in 2022, conferences will be required to have 10 members to remain in good standing and have all the membership benefits that come with being a member conference in Division II. Proposal 9 had several changes that was probably the most controversial from my perspective. The one that most people talked about was when a new conference comes on board, currently they have to wait 2 years before their teams can get automatic qualifications into the NCAA brackets. Now we've changed that to where they must wait 5 years. And so, like I said, there was a little bit of debate on that, but again, overwhelming support for the proposal, and that's now the case. And then on number 10, the last one that dealt with membership, this one changes, basically gives the Management Council authority to limit the number of new conferences. And so the other thing that it will do is it requires that when institutions apply to become a Division II member, they now have to have an invitation from a Division II conference. And so again, just regulates the way that we grow as a division, and hopefully with an eye towards the best interests of Division II.
Absolutely. And how about in your mind some other notable legislation that was passed at this convention?
Yeah, 2012-14, Proposal 14, had to do with sickle cell solubility testing. And as a division, we are now going to require that student athletes either have documented proof that they've been tested, or they must take a test upon arriving on campus to try out, certainly to participate, or they must sign a waiver saying that they don't want to do that. And so we think this will be a good thing for student athletes to be mindful that of the sickle cell trait, and so the more we can discover that a student athlete has that trait, the better we can care for them and serve them. And so I think that's a good thing. Proposal number 2012-15 dealt with the winter break, and that would be the other one that I would probably point out. The winter break was new legislation that we approved maybe 2 years ago that basically stipulates our basketball teams have to sit out from December 20th to December 26th to have some time away from campus, time away from the sport for the holidays, and to get a break like regular students get during that time. This policy, or this change this year, basically allows it to rotate with the calendar. So if it makes more sense for that break to be the 21st through the 27th, then that's what it would be, according to the calendar. And they're going to give us a chart that'll show, the next 10 or 15 years. These are the dates for the winter break. But ideally, the goal there is to allow our teams to play through the Friday, Saturday, through the weekend leading up to the Christmas holiday, pretty much. So, like you said, there's a lot of changes. I think some good things for the division. There were 16 legislative proposals, and all 16 passed without much debate. So it was a pretty productive business session.
Absolutely, sounds very productive. Fans, stay tuned as we look back this week at the Lone Star Conference meetings that were held in conjunction with the NCAA convention. This has been another Lone Star Conference All Access.